Hey, all right, welcome back. It is a Money Monday on Liquid Lunch. I'm John Tobacco. And your household, and your business is affected in so many ways right now. But one of the reasons we had to go into this crazy lockdown was because they wanted to make sure that the hospitalization system wasn't overloaded. Then we found out China cornered the market on PPE, so that was even difficult to get. So much going on. And someone who knows a heck of a lot about this joins me right now, my partner, Frank Morano, Aaron Cohen. He is a security and counterterrorism expert and former member of the Duvdan, Israeli's top counterterrorist unit, and he's the owner of Cherries. And so you guys are working the world to begin with. So you're all in touch with all these biochemical, hazardous, all these different companies and vendors and contractors. You saw a shortage of PPE, and what did you guys do?
So we manufacture, so the unit's called Duvdevan. Duvdevan means cherries in English. So my company is comprised of me and former members of my unit. We're the undercover unit that dresses as Arabs for the purpose of arresting terrorists and to bring them back to Israel for trial and interrogation. And 17 years ago, I started a training company and ended up segueing into various products, which I now manufacture in China. The reason why is because you can just get good stuff made there cheaper. And so we manufacture holsters, we manufacture pocket folding caps for law enforcement off duty. And once COVID-19 hit, we realized two things. One, we're going to have to pivot because what we're currently selling right now is going to die. That's number one. So there was definitely opportunity, and part of it was survival for as a company. But number two, we noticed that the market had absolutely created a frenzy of people with no experience manufacturing overseas in China. All of a sudden, they're in the mask business. They're producing masks. They're trying to broker deals, and it created a dangerous vacuum where states, including the federal government, were unable to get N95s and KN95s and three-ply disposable masks. And so it became this frenzy. So we jumped in, mobilized our paramilitary network from Israel and from different militaries around the world. We've been training governments for, like I said, 17 years, and started locking down different factories in China and ended up being able to get 500,000 masks to the Army National Guard in the state of Oregon in less than a week. And it's a dangerous time out there for states purchasing. And there's been all kinds of stuff in the news and there's price gouging. And so we've been aggressive and we've been very fast, but we've also kept the prices down to be fair, to avoid gouging and to make sure that the states and everybody can get what they need honestly and fairly. And, if we make a little bit of profit, also great. We're still a business, but it's really been a type of intelligence gathering and warfare of countries competing to get this stuff. So we've really been representing the United States quietly as a private military company for this.
Frankie, did you have anything for Aaron?
Well, just so folks understand some of the masks that we're talking about here, is the only difference between an N95 mask and a KN95 mask where the mask was made, or is there some sort of operational difference between the two?
That's a good question. So the N95 mask is the highest standard. It's typically produced by 3M, which is a monster company, and they have what's called a NIOSH certification or approval. And NIOSH is the National Institute of Safety for those respirators. And that N95, the term 95 came because it blocks 95% of the particles. The KN95 is a non-NIOSH approved version that is acceptable for use in Europe and in Asia. And so the approval there is what's called CE. And the CE approval is what was temporarily allowed into the United States due to the pandemic. And so all of these Chinese manufacturers and Chinese companies who've been making millions of these things anyways, jacked up the price, skyrocketed it out the door. Everybody's getting screwed on having to pay $6, $7, $8 for one of these things. And the FDA temporarily allowed them to come into the country because of the pandemic. And so we were able to secure large amounts of it cheaply because we had relationships with the manufacturer in China who I knew wasn't going to gouge me because he's honest. And so it was a question of trying to hunt down these companies. But the KN95 has also had problems. there has been companies that have been producing knockoffs, and there's been some testing done on these masks. They only block 25, 35%. There are KN95 factories or factories producing KN95s that are falsely packaged, coming with fake certifications saying that they're FDA approved. So there's a lot of scamming going on in the market right now also. And as we've been getting calls from different states to secure or to hunt down product for them, what we've been really good at is figuring out, besides us, because we found out that you can only export 20,000 of these a month. Chinese government was regulating what's been going out. The Chinese Communist Army has been seizing masks from different buyers, trying to get them imported, which happened in various states where they got burned, trying to buy 1 million, 10 million pieces, couldn't get them in because the Chinese government was regulating. And our guys on the ground also witnessed government showing up with briefcases of millions of dollars, out purchasing governments that had already purchased these masks because those Chinese factories don't care. And they're working like animals and they're acting like animals. And so we also were able to figure out which companies here in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York, who were apparel companies with strong relationships like we had, who managed to get PPE here landed. And because of this craziness that was going on, the states didn't know who to trust, who they could buy from, who they would get burned from. So we ended up inspecting piles and stockpiles of PPE all over LA to be able to source and inspect what was actually physically here and what was real, and then get that information out via emergency blast to all of these different government agencies. And so not as a broker, but as an on-the-ground intelligence company, being able to give them what was actually here. So I think we've been able to, states just kept getting burned, guys, is what we noticed. And so I said, hey, let's start inspecting what's here and start sending out blasts of what's landed through partner warehouses. And I think we saved a lot of government agencies millions of dollars because we were able to sift through all the BS and the scammers.
Got it. All right. Well, Aaron, we're going to have to leave it there. We're at the top of the hour here. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It's Aaron Cohen. His company is Duvdevan, and that means cherries in American. And they're one of the top intelligence outfits out there. And we're going to take a quick break. We're going to try to demonstrate some intelligence again, starting right after this for hour 2. Quick break, more liquid lunch for you right after this.